This is Dave Meltzer with Entrepreneur the Playbook, and I am so excited. I have Andy Nguyen. He is the founder and the owner of Astor's Ice Cream, but more importantly, you're a culinary entrepreneur. We know this isn't going to be your last project. You are all over the place. I told you you're young Greg Dollarhide, who's one of my associates who has done extraordinary things in your space. You know, you didn't start in this space. That's my favorite thing. In fact, the space that you started in is really one of the skills that are needed to be a great culinary entrepreneur. That was real estate, correct?
Real estate appraiser. That's what it was.
And when you were a real estate appraiser, what was it that led you to where you are today?
That led me because I took the chance of going off on my own, dropping out of school at 18 years old and dropping out 18 years old and going into a field I knew nothing about. And I think that led me to the things I'm doing today, because all the concepts I'm involved in I've never done before in my life and zero experience, and I just figured out along the way, and I took the same approach that I did when I jumped into real estate.
Whether people think it's right or wrong, more people are going to drop out of school or not go to school after high school. That's just going this is a truth. 2027, over 50% of the people are going to be freelancers because the inertia and the business models are changing, and because of technology. What were some of the pressures that you were under when you decided to leave school and be an appraiser?
Obviously, I'm Asian already, so my parents were already like freaking out. Like, are you serious? Like, you're not going to go to school? And I was like, this is not for me. I'm not doing well in it. I want to try something different. I'm still young, so this is the time to take the risk.
And what was their biggest leverage on you when they were like, you got to stay in school?
They're just like, because they moved, they came here from Vietnam. We came over here from a different country.
So it was guilt.
Yeah, guilt. Like,
was it really?
You need to do well. You need to do better than we did. And they didn't understand entrepreneur. That term, especially in early 2000s. None of the kids' friends. They're all in college. They're doctors, lawyers, pharmacists, and here I go. I'm gonna drop out and I'm gonna go do real estate. And they're like, "Are you kidding me?"
And so you end up going into real estate. How long did you work as an appraiser?
I worked at Appraiser for about 3 years. I got my license, worked under a company for about 3 years, and then started my own company.
And when you started your own company, once again, what were some of the fears that you were facing? Here you had a steady job. You were making more money than most of your friends, I'm sure, in that time. Yep. But now you're starting your own company. You don't know anything about starting companies.
Of course.
So where were those fears?
Fears is dealing with lawsuits that we've never seen before. Trying to guide a group of another 18, 19-year-olds around us and trying to round them up to do what we're doing, and building a team and foundation, gaining more clients, how to present yourself, how to speak to them. These are things that people didn't take us seriously. You saw an 18-year-old kid walking in your office, you're like, you sure I'm gonna let you do an appraisal on my house? Do you even own a house? Yeah.
Right. Now, the truth, was there any tricks of the trade so that you gained that credibility necessary to overcome how young you guys were?
I think the track record of us, how thoroughly we did the work and how we came through and got them what they needed to, for these loan officers to pull through to get those things to pull through. They were super happy about it, and they kept giving us more and more, and they kept referring us out, and that's why we kept blowing up.
So there's two customers that are involved. A lot of people don't know, right? You have the loan side of it, and then you have the actual, the selling side of it. So you have a selling agent with a client, and then you have the loan side of it, and both have different needs.
Correct.
And where did you kind of fall in as far as internal marketing? When you were marketing, how did you satisfy the two requirements that sometimes are, conflicting with each other?
We kind of dug through the market of our friends that we knew in the industry at the time that were in loan officers or working for banks, and we just kept selling them on what we did and showing them these are the files that we've done. We're down to drive to Egypt if we had to get this done. Whatever it takes to get these files done, we do it. And I think showing them that they gave us a chance.
And you performed on that chance. You executed, and then you thrived. So how long did you own that business?
I owned it about 3.5 to 4 years.
And what'd you do with it at 3.5, 4 years?
The market started changing, so I shifted. I left.
Yeah, and what'd you shift into?
I went to fashion.
And once again, right, you're like me, right? I always say you only can connect the dots backwards.
Yep.
Steve Jobs taught me that. So here you kind of folded up the appraisal business, And did you take anybody with you when you started? Into
Yeah,
the clothing?
I took my best friend, the one that convinced me to drop out of school to do real estate in the first place, because he's the one that was familiar with the industry, and I had no idea what I was doing. The only reason I did it was he said you could start your own company, and I was like, wait, I didn't know anyone that start their own company. So this is a guy I trusted. He got me into this, and so when I went and got ready for the fashion industry, I brought him along with me.
And what type of fashion and what did you guys get into?
We did streetwear. We launched in 2006, and we sold to all the giant retailers like the Tillys, the Zoomies, PacSuns, big digital retailers around the world. We did that for about 7 years.
Where did you start in the culinary space? What was your first business?
My first business was After's Ice Cream back in 2014.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was.
Why'd you choose ice cream?
That was when I was traveling. I kept seeing a lot of interesting ice cream stores with like fun, unique flavors, and I was like, I'd never seen that back here in Orange County. You had Baskin Robbins, Thrifty, Cold Stone, but you had your usual flavors that you're used to seeing. And I'd go elsewhere, I'd see like crazy flavors. I'm like, what is this?
Kind of like the donut craze when you started seeing like bacon on it.
Exactly. So I started drawing my own playbook of ideas and flavors, and I put that together, and that's how it kind of happened. I was like, ice cream should be the easiest way into the food industry. Let's try this out and let's try this for fun and see what happens. Because I was so interested in it.
It's
at
like
the
liquid
time.
crack. Everybody's addicted.
Everyone likes ice cream, so I was like,
everyone likes ice cream, and California is warmer than those other places.
Absolutely.
When they had those, right? So we have a much bigger, longer cycle.
Yeah.
And how'd you come up with the flavors though? You have no culinary experience, right? You went from real estate into apparel. Now all of a sudden you're like Chef Boyardee of ice cream, and you're like, oh, I like cinnamon twist. I'm going to come up with cinnamon twist. It's a lot more difficult than just coming up with a name. How did you figure that out?
The location we happened to find that we were the previous owner, it was an existing ice cream store. We wanted to come in at minimal risk. We're like, hey, well, we don't want to go build up a store from the ground up. What happens if it tanks? So let's just find something existing. Let's try to buy this guy out and start our own store. What happened was he still wanted to make ice cream, so we ended up partnering up with him. He had 5 years of ice cream experience, and I had 0. So I was like, I have all these ideas. Can you execute? And I was telling him all these flavors, and he's like, what are you talking about? And I said, well, this is what we want, and this is what it's going to translate well to our customers. We're gonna try this out. And it took him. It was very reluctant to do it, but once he started doing it and he started seeing the sales, and he's like, all right, I'm not questioning you anymore.
Nice. Well, it sounds like a lot of people don't question you anymore, including your parents. What do they think?
Oh, now they don't. They let me do whatever I want now.
Do you bring them free ice cream?
I bring them free everything now.
That's
all the bills and everything.
Being a good son, that's awesome. Now, what's your favorite flavor?
It's the milk and cereal, which is our. It's like we have like special flakes on it. It's buttered, salted. It's like frosted flakes on it, and over our ice cream that's crushed inside, so you get this crispy texture every time you take a bite of it.
And do you experiment with your own flavors, or how do you find, besides the idea, do you actually taste test these things?
I taste test every single flavor that we put out.
Yeah.
I make sure that we all make sure that we love it, and everyone gives it a thumbs up before we put it out.
Awesome. And just so successful with After's Ice Cream. But yet that wasn't enough for you, right? Now you have other culinary entrepreneur businesses. I know the burger business.
Yeah, Grand House Burger.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have 2 locations now. About next week is our 1-year anniversary.
What would you do if you lost everything? And are you willing to lose everything?
What I do if I lost everything?
Are you willing to lose everything? Are you willing to risk everything? Financially, not your health.
Financially, I'm willing to break through to what I want to reach, my goals. And I'd risk everything.
Good. All right. If you lost everything, what would you do?
I'd get back up. I'd figure something else out again. I've transitioned 3-4 different industries already. I'll transition again, and I'll always find my way out.